What if your phone, the device you use to stay connected to the world, being used to spy on you? Imagine a tool so advanced that it could turn your phone into a surveillance device without you ever knowing. So in this video, we're diving deep into the Pegasus project, a global investigation that uncovered the horrifying truths about spyware being used on activists, journalists, and world leaders. Stick around because what we'll reveal by the end of this video will make you rethink your digital privacy forever. Gotta stay hydrated.
Gatorade. H2O.
So, I've always been fascinated by the dark side of technology. How something designed to connect us can also be used against us. And the Pegasus project is the perfect example of that. It all started with an investigation in 2021 led by Amnesty International and Forbidden Stories. Two organizations that have a mission to uncover... I don't know why I just did... Yeah, you can count 1, 2, 2. Two organizations that had a mission to uncover who was behind the growing wave of digital surveillance. So you may ask, what did they find? It turns out that thousands of mobile devices across the globe have been hacked using a highly sophisticated piece of spyware known as Pegasus. Now, Pegasus wasn't just any spyware. It was developed by an NSO group, an Israeli cyber intelligence company. It was marketed as a tool to help governments fight terrorism and track dangerous criminals. If I end up like some people end up, it wasn't me. I did not choose that. Just saying that right now. But here's the catch. It wasn't just terrorists and criminals being targeted. The list of people who fell victim to the spyware included journalists, human rights activists, politicians, and even heads of state. And if you think this is just a few isolated incidents, think again. Investigators found a list of over 50,000 numbers. You heard that right. 50,000. 50,000. I think that was 4 zeros. You know where I'm going at, but yeah. 50,000 numbers. The potential targets for Pegasus. Let that sink in for a second. 50,000 people potentially being spied on all over the world. But how did Pegasus actually work? Let me explain. So the spyware Pegasus was designed to be almost undetectable. Undetectable. No, see, that's too undetectable. I swear I can speak.
I don't believe you.
It could infect a phone without the user ever knowing. All it took was one missed call on a platform, one missed call on a platform like WhatsApp, and then the spyware would silently infiltrate the device, giving complete access to the text messages, phone calls, emails, photos, and even the phone's camera and microphone. So that tape that you put over your camera might pay off some way. I don't know. If you were one of those 50,000 people on that list, I don't know who you are. I'm probably talking to a void right now. But if not, hello and welcome.
Get back to it.
Essentially, the spyware turned your phone into a 24-hour surveillance device. And here's where it gets even scarier. Real scary. Well, I don't know. Maybe scare. It's kind of scary. It's pretty scary. It's not like boo scary, but it's like my phone can't be trusted.
Everybody throw your phones out the window!
So, unlike traditional spyware, Pegasus did not need the user to click on a suspicious link or download an infected file. No action from the user was required. That's what made it so powerful. Imagine going about your daily life completely unaware that your phone is being used to monitor your every move. I'm not saying some other three-letter entity is doing that now.
Right. Oh, NSA.
But, I mean, Edward Snowden, he said some things. So, and that was a while ago. So if they were doing stuff back then, I should probably get back to the story.
Well, he'd better, or else.
Please don't find me and end me. I have things I want to do still. The big question is, how did this list of potential targets come to be? Who was deciding which phone numbers to infiltrate? And more importantly, what was being done with all this data? Because data is worth money.
Money.
In case you weren't aware. And companies are making money off your data.
Cash money, I'm gonna make it rain.
But that's a completely different subject altogether, which we might do a video on, but it's not really mysterious per se, so I don't know if it really falls underneath the umbrella that is Weirdsville. If Weirdsville is an umbrella. Maybe it's like a tin roof on a shack. I don't know. I don't know why I'm looking at my mic.
What are you doing with your hands?
Okay. Let me go back to where I was at from my ramble.
Get back to the story, please.
And more importantly, what was being done with all this data? Stay with me because we're going to break down some of the most shocking revelations uncovered by this investigation. As investigators dug deeper, it became clear that this wasn't just a case of government surveillance. So the scale was much larger than anyone anticipated. Some of those phone numbers belonged to journalists from major outlets like CNN, the New York Times, and Reuters. God, you guys aren't coming back. Like, this guy can't read.
He can't read.
I was on Hooked on Phonics, man. I was hooked on it.
Over the years, parents, grandparents, and teachers have reported Hooked on Phonics success stories. With intensive, systematic phonics, these children learned important skills used in reading. Surprisingly, many schools do not effectively teach intensive, systematic phonics. So if your child's struggling or starting out in reading, Hooked on Phonics may be an answer. Remember, good phonics skills can make a difference.
I was hooked on the phonics. So obviously I can read some. And obviously I'm getting all this from my brain. I totally didn't type this up beforehand, so I don't need to know how to read because it's all up here.
They're on to me, dude.
Some of the targets were journalists from major news outlets and also activists fighting human rights in countries like India, Morocco, and Mexico were being spied on. Even world leaders, including the president of France, Emmanuel Macron, were found on the list. Now think about this for a moment. This isn't just an invasion of privacy, it's an attack on the very people fighting to uphold the truth and protect democracy. The use of Pegasus to silence critics, suppress activists, and monitor political opponents is one of the most chilling aspects of this entire investigation that I was not a part of. I'm just talking about the investigation. To be clear, I am just a low-level wannabe YouTube boy.
Ain't nothing problem, he's a nobody.
But what makes this even more terrifying in the case of Jamal Khashoggi, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, a journalist critical of the Saudi government, was murdered in 2018. The Pegasus project revealed that those close to him, his friends and colleagues, had their phones targeted by the spyware in the lead up to his death. Could surveillance have played a major role in his murder? The investigation raises some dark and unanswered questions. Imagine being in their shoes, thinking you're safe, only to find out that every conversation, every text, every call you made was being monitored by forces beyond your control. But there's one thing we still need to address. How far does this go? I think it goes pretty far.
All the way to the top.
Oh, the top.
The Pegasus project shed light on a global surveillance network. But even with all the data uncovered, we still don't know the full extent of the damage. This spyware could be used by any government willing to pay the price. In fact, Pegasus has been sold to more than 40 countries. Is ours one of them? I don't know. So how do we stop this? That is a question without a clear answer. Despite the outrage and investigations, the NSO group continues to claim that Pegasus is only used to track criminals and terrorists. But the evidence suggests otherwise. The more we learn about Pegasus, the more it becomes clear that no one is truly safe from this kind of surveillance. And this raises the ultimate question. Can we ever truly protect our privacy in this digital age? Or are we simply living in an illusion, trusting devices that could betray us at any moment? The Pegasus project was a wake-up call for the world. A reminder that in today's digital age, privacy can be an illusion. What scares me the most is that we may have only scratched the surface of this story. The spyware was discovered, but how many other tools like Pegasus are out there? How much of our lives are truly our own? So what do we do now? That's the question I'll leave you with. In a world where technology can be used to watch our every move, how do we stay safe? And more importantly, who can we trust? Thanks for watching. If you want to stay up to date on more stories like this, or other mysteries, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Let's keep this conversation going in the comments. Do you think privacy is dead in the digital age? And remember, stay weird, stay curious, and I'll see you next time. Farewell for now.